Question number 8, Dr Kennedy Graham.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Minister of Defence, will he assure the House that no New Zealand troops will be engaged in active military combat in Iraq during the term of this government?
Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, I can do no better than to quote from the Prime Minister's speech given to the National Security Forum on the 5th of November 2014, where he said, and I quote, "Today I'm ruling out New Zealand sending SAS or any troops into combat roles in Iraq."
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Dr Kennedy Graham.
Despite the Prime Minister's assurance of 5th November 2014, how can he give us an assurance that our people will not be engaged in active combat when the Canadian troops, who are already in Iraq in a training capacity, have been forced to engage in 2 combats this year alone?
Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, I'd caution the member from making a lack of distinction between the activities that the Canadians are undertaking at the moment. They do have people there who are in assist missions. We have no intention of being in those.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Dr Kennedy Graham.
Will his government be criticising Iraq when its foreign minister visits tomorrow for the ethnic cleansing of Sunni civilians in Iraq, which Human Rights Watch explains has led to the rise of militant groups such as ISIL? Or will New Zealand not be standing up for that kind of human rights tomorrow?
Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, the government in Iraq at the moment is still relatively new, and the efforts that we note from Mr Abadi, the Prime Minister, and his colleagues is one of trying to bring interests of both Sunni and Shiite Muslims together, and we would support them in that. There is no point looking back at atrocities that may have been committed by past governments going back well beyond the Saddam regime.
Very good answer.
Supplementary question, Dr Kennedy Graham.
If the criteria for possible military engagement in Iraq is to, quote, nip in the bud organisations that appear to be funding ratbags around the world, unquote, when will the Minister be getting advice on military engagement against the Saudi regime which appears to be funding them?
Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, there's once again the Green Party not reading everything that is said in the context it's said, but selectively taking it out to suit their particular view of the world. What I said yesterday is that if we were to make a contribution, and it remains an if, it would be to training Iraqi security forces because they want to take on that fight to, as I said, nip right in the bud the ISIL Daesh phenomena in that part of the world. And I think if you look at even what happened in Australia yesterday afternoon, some of the head-in-the-sand positions being taken by the Green Party are frightening for New Zealanders.
Supplementary question, Dr Kennedy Graham.
Is this the day before New Zealand goes to war? And if so, shouldn't the matter be debated in this Parliament to assure the New Zealand people that our use of armed force is internationally lawful and politically wise?
Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, if the flag the member waved at the front of that question is one that he wants to take to the streets, he's going to find very few people following it.
Question number 9, Jacinda Ardern.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is